welcome to Crew Chat. I should say welcome back to Crew Chat.
Yes.
Yeah. We've been kind of taking a little hiatus because of a certain pandemic that has been ravishing the world.
Yeah, have you heard about that? It's crazy.
Well, it's certainly changed, the way that things have been going. I haven't been able to go to too many wine tastings, haven't been able to, invite a lot of people over. It kind of sucks.
Right? Yeah, which is bad because the whole premise of our show is that wine is for sharing. And so it's led to a lot of solo drinking. It's a different experience.
Yeah, I've heard from countless people that they're drinking a lot more wine and other forms of alcoholic beverages during the lockdown, and that's not just in the U.S.
Yeah,
that's pretty much everywhere. So when this whole thing started, I'm like, all the small businesses, it doesn't matter if they're restaurants or they're wine shops or whatever, are gonna, they're all gonna fail. They're gonna be in a lot of trouble. But I'm talking to the guy down at the wine store, and he's like, business is great.
You can't keep the stuff in stock.
I mean, yeah, and so it's kind of ironic that it works out for some of these wine purveyors, but I don't know. It's still tough though.
Yeah.
Because they just like you said, wine's for sharing, and they like to do a lot of their events face to face.
Right.
A lot of these places have tables where they serve lunch. Or it's kind of a food pairing type of thing, or they do classes, and they haven't been able to do any of that stuff.
Yeah. And they really cultivate their customers too. I mean, it's a very personal experience, and so it's another one that's been hard to do.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. Mm-hmm. What about like winery visits? You've been to any wineries in the past 6 months?
I actually did go to one. A friend of mine is in a wine club, and so she went to pick up the wine for the month. Mm-hmm. The outside was closed, or it was open. The inside was closed, but it was nice. They had set up a nice patio deck area. Tables were distanced, and we just were able to kind of go out and have a nice time.
Yeah, here it's here we live close enough to some wine country that all these wineries out in the Virginia countryside, they have huge 50-100 acre properties.
Yeah, and I mean, you cannot swing your arms without hitting a winery in Virginia. So they're everywhere.
They may not be the best wines in the world, but we won't get into that today. Some of them are good. Some of them are good, but a lot of them are. Why am I even talking about this? The point is, they've got beautiful settings and these giant kind of out these vistas that you can see over the Blue Ridge Mountains, and they're all dog friendly, and families go out there, and it's a good time.
Lots of live music. So there was a guy singing there, so it was nice.
There you go. So it's pretty pandemic friendly.
Yeah, it was. But it's sad that it was. It's almost the end of summer, and it's the only time I've gone.
Yeah. I mean, the wine stores themselves, they're all adapting. Even the ones that, like I said, some the business is booming, some not so much. The ones that rely more on people coming in, and maybe it's a restaurant / wine shop. But they're all adjusting, they're doing their curbside pickup and being able to order online. And a lot of the wine shops around here are doing free delivery, which is great. They say, well, if you spend $99, are you kidding?
When have I not?
Yeah. So, and they'll, next day just drop it off at your door. So I've done that a couple times. That's been nice. It's actually kind of cool because a lot of those will have just sort of a 6-pack of wine they'll throw together. So
I was asking you that because I wasn't sure if they had a website with their available wine stock in it that you would go and pick and choose, or if you just kind of said, this is a genre I'm looking for. Can you put together some interesting bottles? I mean, that might be one way to keep kind of learning, and it's not exactly the in-person tastings, but it gives you a chance to try something new. Kind of like a wine, like a male wine club.
Yeah,
which I know you've
kind
done
of.
in the past.
Yeah, kind of like that. So the big box wine stores, Total Wine and those types, you could shop online there and pick out your individual wines. But most of the smaller wine shops, they don't have that at all. Mm-hmm. Which I always found kind of surprising. But I guess their inventory changes so often that it's not really feasible. So sometimes you can have like a wine of the month club where you just show up and they give you 6 random wines. Maybe you say, I want 6 reds or 3 and 3 or whatever. And that's fun because you don't know what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. And then there's others that have kind of their weekly 6-pack of wines, and they show you on the website, all right, this is what they are. It costs $75 or $100. We'll deliver it to your door, and just click, 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 click. I like that. I like not having to go and stress over, okay, I want one of these and two of those.
Right.
Just send me some wines, and some of them you'll like, some of them you won't.
Yeah.
But whatever, it's variety.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're sitting at home with nothing to do for days and weeks on end, variety, that little bit of variety is exciting.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of variety right now. So
No, we do not.
get it in your wine. That's what you're suggesting. So what has been your go-to pandemic wine? Like, what's your pandemic wine list?
Pandemic wine list, yes. It's been hot. It's been like 100-degree summer.
Yeah.
It's been brutal. So, and we're stuck here, so a lot more white wines, a lot more rosés, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not as many, very few kind of heavier red wines.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you been sampling during the lockdown?
Interestingly enough, wine, I always go for the Pinot Noir. I don't care what time of year it is. I don't care. It's just a nice drinking wine.
Yeah. That's what we have here.
Yep, that's what you pulled out when I came over. It's what I like. So I've stuck with that. It's nice because you can also get it a little bit, you can chill it a little bit, so it still can be a nice summer red. But speaking of going on to websites and buying things, I did recently buy a whole bunch of different meads. So then going with some honey wine.
Is that technically wine?
Well, it's made from honey instead of grapes. Like, you can ferment lots of stuff.
All right. I learned something new, I guess. You could ferment anything, yeah, but I think wine's got to come from fruit, or some people would say it has to come from grapes, but
Okay.
at least fruit.
Like, it can't be like strawberry wine,
Well, that's a fruit.
cranberry wine.
Yeah,
So then is it beer?
maybe, or a malt liquor, or I don't know. I have no idea what it is. It's
So I
mead.
kinda-
Nobody drinks mead anymore.
I've kind of moved on to malt liquor, I think, is what I've
That's
done.
what it sounds
That's my
like.
pandemic drink.
Let me ask you this: do the meads justify the ends?
No, I'm not answering that. Anyway, mead is good. I highly recommend it.
Is that like your Wall Street pun?
Mead.
Mead is good.
Mead. Stop.
That's a stretch. That was a stretch. So anyway, yeah, this is a Pinot Noir. Since we should probably call out what we're having with the show,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
This is a Pinot Noir. This one's from France, which is, of course, where Pinot Noir comes from. As you know, did we ever do a Pinot Noir episode?
I don't think we did a full episode, but we've certainly mentioned quite a few of them.
Well, Pinot Noir comes from France, and it's French for black pine, like the pine tree. Anyway, Bourgogne, which means Burgundy, and this is actually a really inexpensive one. It's probably under $20. Anytime you see one that just says Burgundy or Bourgogne on it, that means it's a regional wine. So it's sort of the lowest tier that they make, but it's still good.
Yes, it's still really good.
And you can tell the difference between that and something that comes from California or Oregon, because it's going to be a little more earthy.
Oh yeah, it's
versus
spicier.
fruity.
It's definitely spicier.
Yeah. So it's kind of the old world style versus our new world style, which is going to be a lot fruitier.
Yes.
Has
a much cleaner finish.
But it's a light color.
Yeah, it is.
Compare that to something you'd get. A lot of people like to get their Russian River Valley Pinot Noirs from California. Those are a very dark color.
Yes.
Versus the stuff you get from France is usually going to be lighter color.
Right.
For whatever reason. Probably because the climate's cooler. It doesn't get as ripe, and it doesn't get as as much sun, as hot sun. So it just ends up being a lighter body.
Color-wise, it looks like more like something you'd find from like Willamette in Oregon,
which has a very similar climate to France. So,
but the taste is different.
Every region's got its own kind of particular signature flavor combination to it, which is why it's kind of fun to try them out. So, if you're doing your pandemic wine sampling and you want to go try, that's another way to do it. Go try 6 different Pinot Noirs from all over the world, and they all taste different. You get Oregon, in France, in California, but also in New Zealand, they're famous for making Pinot Noirs.
Take away from this: call a local wine store, ask them to put together a 6-pack of Pinots.
Sure,
See if they'll deliver it.
they'll deliver it if they know what's good for them.
Oh, is that a threat?
other thing people have been sampling a little bit during the pandemic I've heard more about are canned wines and boxed wines.
Yes.
Now, obviously, your traditional wine aficionado is going to turn up his or her nose at that. But the quality and selection of those type of wines has gone up over the years. It really has.
And especially you brought up the canned wines. I'm really fascinated by that because it's so easy to take to a picnic or because a lot of times everything's been done outdoors.
To the beach.
Yeah. And so it's so much easier instead of having a big glass bottle when you're taking it to the pool or the beach. Is the quality going up with canned wine? I mean, you're starting to see it in a lot of places.
Well, so it's still your lower end wines you're going to find in the cans and in the boxes. But I figure that the same way that screw top wines were once vilified and now are kind of accepted, and some of the best producers use screw top wines, I think the same thing's going to happen with canned wines or wines in a box or in other sort of conveyances, even in a plastic bottle. Who knows? Because they're not designed for aging, or for saving or for investment purposes. So they don't really need to last for 10, 20 years. I mean, 95% of the wine produced today is meant to be drunk right away.
Right.
So why not put it in different containers?
Yep. Where I'm finding the canned wines is really handy is with sparkling wines. Because it keeps it's been used for beer for Lord knows how long.
The method is tried and true.
Yes, so it keeps in the carbonation. So it works really well when you just pop open a can of, Brut Rosé and it just, it's nice and bubbly. So I think it's kind of an interesting concept. And
I wonder if you could shotgun that.
Do you have any?
No, I'm not prepared. Sorry. So I notice you have a stack of index cards down there.
I do.
I don't know what's on these. I'm kind of I'm filled with trepidation. Is that the right word?
Yes.
I'm very curious. That's what I'm trying to say.
So you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for agreeing to this.
I don't know what I've agreed to, but go on.
Well, as you know, I sing with Sweet Adelines, I sing with the Vienna Falls Chorus, and one of the things that we've been doing is each rehearsal that we've been doing on Zoom, we do a spotlight on an activity of a member. So I am doing a special version of Crew Chat with you for our beloved Vienna Falls Chorus.
I love it. This is exciting.
So I thought what we would do is I could just kind of do a little interview, get your advice, your thoughts, some expertise. All right, if you're ready.
I'm ready.
He's not seen these questions, so this is just going to be right off the top of your head.
I'm extremely nervous, but I can do this.
That's fine.
Shoot.
All right. With fall just around the corner, what's a good transition wine from summer to fall?
Once you start going into fall, you're eating winter vegetables, maybe more meat dishes and things like that. You want something, maybe you want to transition with something with a little more body to it. So I'd go for something like Chiantis or Pinot Noir or even Spanish wines, like a Rioja or something like that.
What wine do you recommend bringing on a weekend with 60 of your closest girlfriends?
So 60 of my closest girlfriends on a weekend. Well, okay. It sounds like it's going to be a party. It's going to be a fun time. And
it's a lot of work and a lot of play.
For a white wine, maybe a Pinot Gris would be a good thing. And you can get those from Oregon. You can get those from France. You can get them from Italy, where they call them Pinot Grigio. And those are always light and refreshing. They go a long way. Okay. And on the red, I'd probably recommend like a Beaujolais.
Oh, yes. Right. But not a Beaujolais Nouveau.
I'm not really a big fan of the Beaujolais Nouveaux. Those taste like bubble gum, and I don't really like to drink bubble gum.
This one's kind of related. How do you remove red wine stains out of hotel bed sheets?
The same way you'd remove blood.
Okay. Okay. I know how to do that, so it's fine.
Yeah.
What is the best type of wine to drink out of a bedazzled sippy cup that probably has my name and singing part on it?
I'd have to go with a sparkling rosé. The cap and the small aperture on the top of the sippy cup is going to help maintain the effervescence.
Nice.
of the sparkling wine so that it doesn't go flat too quickly. And the shape of the sippy cup will accentuate the bubbles as they rise to the surface. Is it a transparent sippy cup? Can you see through it?
No, there are rhinestones.
Oh, the rhinestones. Well, those will amplify. As the light passes through the rhinestones, it will amplify the appearance of the bubbles, making it look that much more fabulous.
What wine is drunk best straight from the bottle? Or tap?
You don't see a lot of wines on tap in the United States. It's a big thing in Europe, of course.
Well, you know, they're starting to have a lot of wine bars downtown that have tapped wine.
It's starting to come in, and I like it. I'm a big fan of that. I approve of that. You get a card. I think is usually the way it works. It's kind of like getting a Subway card, right? And then you can put it in there, you hit 6 ounces, and it deducts the value, and it's really dangerous, actually, now that I say that. Does that answer your question?
Good enough. All right, finally we have something I like to call the food pairing lightning round.
Oh, no.
So I'm going to give you a food, and you're going to tell me a good wine to serve or drink with it.
Okay.
All right?
Let's do it.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
I'll give you a softball start. Salmon.
Salmon, I love to have a Sauvignon Blanc.
Pad Thai.
Pad Thai has a lot of spices in it. It can be spicy. You want something that cuts through it with acidity. I would drink a Riesling with that.
Lasagna.
Lasagna, you must drink that with, that's a southern Italian dish, so I would drink that with an Aglianico, something from southern Italy.
Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops. Well, I wouldn't pair that. I would just simply pour the wine over the Fruit Loops. And for that, you want something that's going to counter the sweetness of the Fruit Loops. So maybe something a little earthier. And for that, I think I'd just go with a first growth Bordeaux.
Barbecued chicken.
Anything with barbecue sauce, I love Chianti. It cuts through it, and it's a great match.
Finally, Taco Bell.
You know, Mexican-ish. I just go for a margarita. Sometimes you can't drink wine with everything. Sometimes you just have to have a beer. Sometimes you have to have mead. Exactly. So, be flexible. Wine isn't the answer to all the world's problems.
I do not agree with that.
It's the cause of most of the world's problems, but not necessarily the answer.
I refuse to believe that's true. Those are my questions. Thank you very much for participating, and thank you very much for watching. This is what we do, just a little snapshot of our crew chat.
A little talk about wine, a little talk about life.
Yeah, hopefully it's fun and at least a little informative.
A little. Okay, well, that was awesome. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad we got to get back together and do this, even during a pandemic.
Yeah.
We're maintaining about a 6-hand separation, even though I know you're all concerned, but we've been judiciously quarantining.
Yes.
And Selene is my vetted crew chat partner. So
Correct. And I do nothing or go nowhere, so it's fine.
Neither of us has a life to speak of, so
I'm training my cats to use buttons to speak to me. So I clearly don't go anywhere.
Excellent. Well, I know that these have been few and far between, but we're aiming to fix that. Life has been crazy for everyone lately, so we're going to do some more live shows. Yep. We're going to get back together now that the weather's getting nicer, do some more, tape shows.
Yep.
And get back on the track.
That's right. Get back on the horse.
Get back on the wagon.
Yes. Beat a dead horse.
Off the wagon. See ya. Bye.
Thank you.